Hello everybody, I'm John Casey and welcome to Saitama in Japan as the World Basketball Championships for 2006 continue exclusively here on Fox Sports. Coming up, it's the dream matchup for the Boomers, Australia against the #1 ranked United States of America. And as I welcome my co-commentator, NBA Hall of Famer Steve Carfino, while the bookmakers are expecting the United States to win by 20 plus here, the Boomers will be loving the opportunity of taking it up to the best team in the world.
And that's what you come out to play basketball for. You want to play against the best in the world. You want the opportunity to go out there and go against the best. These guys that you see on TV, these guys that make millions of dollars, to go up there and see how good you are in those situations. And this is what these guys will get to answer tonight.
United States of America undefeated in their 5 pool games to top Group D. And their closest match was against Italy when they won by 9. Puerto Rico got within 11, but big wins against Slovenia by 19, China by 31, and Senegal by 45, as the United States has 2-1 on favourites to win the world title here. And let's not forget, the United States, while they claim the NBA World Championship, they haven't officially been world champions since 1994 in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, that the rest of the world has not only bridged the gap, but they've gone past. The style of basketballs played around the world has kind of baffled the Americans in the last couple of world events that they've participated in. Not only have they been beaten, they've been beaten soundly.
The Australian team won 2 of their 5 pool matches and have progressed through to the round of 16. The winner here through to the quarterfinals. And much is going to hinge on CJ Bruton and Andrew Bogut, who have been our 2 top scorers at the World Championships.
The thing about the American team is they can come at you hard. With Mike Krzyzewski as the coach, they have a lot of defensive-oriented game plans out there. And the thing about the USA team is their depth. When they keep fresh people coming at you, they also have the ability to put the ball in the basket. So a lot of different lineups and combinations that they can throw at you, and they're still lethal at the offensive end. And that's where they get teams, is with their depth.
There you see the United States of America, the team roster, and what a star-studded lineup it is, including Dwayne Wade, the MVP for the Miami Heat in the playoffs recently, the Rookie of the Year, Chris Paul, who finished 2 places above Andrew Bogut in Rookie of the Year voting. And Carmelo Anthony has been their highest scorer at the World Championship, averaging 20 per game to be number 7 in Japan. Huge crowd has turned out here in Saitama, which is just outside of Tokyo, a city with a population of just 1 million. And the Saitama Super Arena has the capacity of 37,000 and held that many for a Rolling Stones concert back in April. But in terms of the basketball configuration, 21,000 seats are available here, and this is where all the finals are going to be played from now on in. And you can see highlights from all the finals continuing here on Fox Sports right through to the final, which is coming your way on Monday, the 4th of September on Fox Sports 2 at 5 p.m. in the afternoon or 5 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. And we have plenty of coverage coming your way right throughout. Here is the Australian lineup, and Brian Goorjian has decided to go with the same lineup that started the final match in their pool when they came up with their biggest ever win at the World Championships against Qatar by 47 points. Earlier in the tournament, David Barlow was starting ahead of Mark Worthington. But Worthington was fantastic in the match against Qatar when he finished with a game-high 17, including 4 of 5 threes. And the United States of America, what a lineup this is, Steve.
Oh, my goodness, just looking at that thing. Chris Paul's been outstanding. He's really shown his quickness and his ability to find his teammates. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. Elton Brand's been a monster down there. And if you see when they were going through the national anthem showing, he is not all that big. He's not all that tall, but he just dominates down on the block. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in this game. I'm looking forward to this game probably more than any of the Australian games I've seen so far. But, you know, I'm looking at the talent, and they've got a wealth of talent, but I would say their lack of preparation as far as compared to the other teams like Lithuania and the teams that move the basketball around without putting it on the floor is something that Australia should be thinking is a positive thing. I think they play a similar type of game style, and and they are familiar with the international game more than the Americans. So those are some positive notes that they can keep in the back of their head if they get a little bit of run on the Yanks.
Well, the United States are the highest scoring team at the World Championships, averaging 109 per game. Australia 15th with 74 points per game. And the strengths of the American team will certainly have been the Rookie of the Year, Chris Paul. He's leading the World Championships in assists, 4th in steals. The USA lead the World Championships in steals per game, 2nd in assists, and they have the fewest turnovers of anyone. So that's a big strength for them. But rebounding-wise, the Americans are only 7th at the World Championships, and their leading rebounder individually is Dwight Howard, who is 35th at the World Championships. So Australia can look to the rebounding area and outwork this fantastically athletic lineup of the United States and maybe serve it up to them and put some pressure on them. The United States against Australia at the Olympic or World Championship level, well, they lead the head-to-head 11-0. But having said that, 3 times during those 11 matches, Australia has been within 10 points or less. It was only 2 points at the World Championships in 1978 in the Philippines, just 1 point at the 1990 World Championships in Argentina, and the most recent meeting between these teams was at the Olympic Games in 2004, and it was 89-79 to the United States. Only a 10-point ball game. Shane Heal had 17 for Australia in that match. Andrew Bogut, 11 points, 8 rebounds. And Andrew Bogut did finish top 4 at the Olympics in rebounding. He will be more familiar with this style that he's going to see from the United States. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the best of Andrew Bogut in this match.
Well, I'll be interested to see what type of style of game he has. He was banging early in the games against Brazil and against Turkey, and then he was able to mix it up in the next 2 games against Lithuania and Greece. And I'm sure he feels probably a lot more comfortable going against these guys that he's gone against in the NBA. One thing they don't want to do with the Americans, they don't want to get caught up in a running game, but they want to be aggressive on the break. But I think they've got to pick and choose their spots a little bit better than they've done in their previous games in the pool. They can beat the U.S. and it's going to take a flawless game from Australia, and they're going to have to shoot the basketball well and shoot it with confidence. Now, I say you don't want to get in a running game with him, but you want to be able to, when you get an opportunity, an open look, go out there and play to your natural ability. You know you can hit an open 20-footer, knock it down. Doesn't matter whether you're playing the U.S. or anybody else in the world. No one is in awe of the U.S. like in the past. They have been beaten. They will be beaten again. And why not Australia? Why not tonight?
Well, 14 of the 24 countries who went to the World Championships have NBA players on their roster, and that says it all, I think. Well, with due respect to the Commonwealth Games back in March, this is the biggest game Australian basketball has seen since the 2004 Olympics. The Boomers up against the #1 ranked United States of America. A spot in the quarterfinals up for grabs. The Basketball World Championships exclusive to Fox Sports. The United States, working to the right of your screen, have controlled the tip. This is Chris Paul handing the ball off. Good D initially here from Australia, keeping the United States a long way from the rack. Single numbers on the shot clock. And the long-range attempt to open up proceedings is off the money, and Bogut grabs the rebound. Now they work the ball quickly up the floor, and under pressure, Sam McKinnon comes up empty. As Chris Paul surveys the options, given some latitude in a mismatch against Bogut. Short-range jumper, wouldn't tumble. And it would appear the US are going to get back possession.
On the first 2 possessions, you see Australia taking the passing lanes away and allowing the U.S. a couple of relatively wide open jump shots. Have been unsuccessful on the first 2.
LeBron James skips the ball outside, and the United States gets scoring underway through Shane Battier. Bogut operating outside the perimeter, looks inside. Nice move by Worthington to find an opening, but excellent defense there from the United States, batting the ball out of court. It was Chris Paul. What a rookie year Chris Paul had. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists to be 7th in the NBA, and 2 steals to be 3rd in that category. No wonder he was voted Rookie of the Year, and by a big margin. shot clock about to expire. CJ Bruton elevates and has the answering triple for the Boomers.
We've seen no guard at this tournament be able to contain CJ Bruton. I'm sure he is really looking forward to this matchup against the USA.
Again, the United States settle for the outside shot, and they are getting the job done as well. Carmelo Anthony, the leading scorer for the United States, averaging 20 per game, fills it up as Worthington tries his luck. Short on the front of the rim, and there's Chris Paul grabbing the rebound. And quickly back up the floor, the United States about to put Australia under more pressure. Paul handing off now. They swing the ball around. Bogut with the job trying to contain his opponent at the moment. Couldn't get a hand up quickly enough for the United States. Enjoy a 5-point lead as Elton Brand opens his scoring account.
That's going to be a problem because the USA's low post players demand a double team. There's no one in the NBA that can handle these low post players one-on-one. So that's going to make Australia double team, and then they're going to get ball reversals and wide open shots. But they'd rather have an open shot by the USA than single coverage down on the block, I would imagine.
Jason Smith gets it from Worthington, hands off to Sam McKinnon. They go inside where Bogut has single coverage for the moment. Spinning back to the left-hand side, forced into a tough shot by good D from Elton Brand. And the United States with an opportunity. They've scored the last 5 points here. Plenty of options available. On that occasion, Carmelo Anthony unable to connect. Inside, Bogut left alone, throws down the dunk to get an easy 2 for the Boomers.
You're going to have a lot of pressure releases against the USA as Battier shoots a long 3. USA on target from the perimeter. That's one thing the USA wasn't going to do again, is select a team that didn't have perimeter shooters. These guys are much better shooters than the team that they had at the Olympics.
Bogut again skipping away from Elton Brand and is challenged there by Shane Battier. And he's off to the free throw line. Battier, last season with the Memphis Grizzlies, has been traded to Houston. Averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds and 2 assists per game last season in his 5th campaign in the NBA.
Another one of these players that had a great college career at Duke and got into the NBA and just went to another level. It's always amazing to see guys that are good in college and then outstanding once they get to the NBA. Just different style, a little more court that's open to work with. You have a look at Australia's bench, and I'm sure all these guys can't wait for the opportunity to go up against the USA team.
Andrew Bogut, who's been averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds per game, gets the job done. Australia back to within 4. Little over 3 minutes played in the opening term. Chris Paul with the outside look, couldn't finish it. Bruton off and running. Numbers with him in support. Getting an open look. Australia coming up with the goods. It's another triple from Brad Newell. We have a 1-point ball game.
Well, if America can continue to gamble and get 2 players to 1, quick ball reversals by Australia and open looks, that's exactly what Australia need.
5 unanswered points from Australia. Single numbers on the shot clock for the United States. Need to get something happening and quickly. Long range attempt. They are shooting the lights out at the moment as LeBron James opens his scoring account.
In a way, you want to play these guys tough, but you don't ever want to get them to start taking things personally, because LeBron James can, in a one-on-one situation, has all the tools.
Here's Bogut behind the back, showing them some tricks and coming up with a finish as well.
And you think Andrew Bogut came, he's one of those guys, the stiffer the competition, the better he plays.
Entertaining start to the match. 4.5 minutes played. The United States lead it by 2. They work the ball inside on this occasion, which has been a rarity. Tough shot on that occasion after excellent D was played by the Boomers. And Australia with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time or square it up. CJ Bruton, who trialled with the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James during the off-season, works into a sticky situation. Bogut from outside fills it up, and the Boomers are in front for the first time in the match.
Andrew Bogut on fire. He's had a little bit of everything. Great one-hand pass from Sam McKinnon. It was a great catch, and he delivered a dart to Andrew Bogut for the three.
The Australians certainly not overawed by their opponents at the moment. Here's Carmelo Anthony elevating, drawing a foul on Brad Newley. And if we can make a small criticism of Brad Newley at these World Championships, has been his ability to pick up soft fouls. He's averaged 7 points per game with a tournament high of 15 against Lithuania. Section of the big crowd who have turned out here at the Saitama Super Arena, venue for all the finals, including the final of the World Championships, which can be seen here on Fox Sports on Monday, September 4. We can look forward to that. In matches played yesterday, already through to the quarterfinals, we have Argentina and Turkey, Spain and Lithuania. So 2 teams from Australia's pool are already through to the last 8, and Greece are expected to defeat China to be the 3rd team to get through to the last 8. And that just underlines what we said earlier in the tournament about the Boomers being placed in the toughest pool at the World Championships, despite beating New Zealand in the group phase last year.
A couple of highlights of Andrew Bogut. And when you see Australia with a lead, you start to think, okay, what are they doing so well that they can't continue to do for the rest of the game? Well, one of the things the Americans are going to do is, one of the things I should say, is they're going to lift the intensity defensively. And they have the ability to do that because look who's coming to the game. Dwayne Wade is coming to the game. Their subs are off the chart. They are athletic, they are quick, they are intense, and they're all superstar players that can hit big game shots. Now, Australia's got to be hoping that they don't gel well together. Now, Australia has been gelling very well. They've had some unfortunate finishes that haven't allowed them to have an unblemished record, but they have had some great experience in these World Championships so far, and they obviously feel like they can play with anybody.
Luke Kendall into the match for the Boomers, and hands off now to CJ Bruton. 4.5 to play, term number 1. CJ from outside, unsuccessful. And the United States looking to retake the lead here. They come back up the floor with good effect as well. That's a nice start to the match coming into the game.
Well, Heinrich is a better shooter than Chris Paul. Chris Paul distributes the basketball better. But if he comes over a screen, he's looking to knock down the J. He's not looking for his teammates.
Bruton picks up the dribble. Now Bogut shares it in the corner, finding Newley as the open man. Can't finish it. Getting after the loose ball, Sam McKinnon grabs the rebound for Australia. Again, they go to the corner, and this time Brad Newley makes the adjustment and puts the Boomers back in front once more.
Oh, you have got to like that. He was in the same spot, and believe there's no way he was going to miss 2 in a row from the same spot.
United States going to work once more, and an excellent piece of work again. A chance at a 3-point play. Dwayne Wade.
Substitution for USA, number 7, Antoine Jameson.
Averaged 27 points per game in the NBA last season, to be 5th in scoring, 10th in assists with 7 per game. Still only 24 years of age. Wade, along with LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, are the only 3 players in this United States team who played at the 04 Olympics. Bogut with the ball carrying duties and enjoying it for the moment, but he's lost it. Numbers up the floor for the USA. They got a little casual with it, and Newley upstairs with a rejection, but it's called a goaltend.
And you want Andrew Bogut to play freely, but at the same time, the USA team's very strong defensively, as you see both teams getting after it with the intensity. Well, there's some athleticism by both teams there.
Pressure up the floor from the USA. CJ Bruton breaks it down easily. A little over 3 minutes left, term number 1, as Bruton goes exploring. Here's McKinnon rushing down low. Explosive move from Sam McKinnon, just catching the USA on the defensive end, napping there. And he's off to the free throw line as Antoine Jamison picks up the foul. Jamison can fill it up. He had back-to-back 50-point games in the NBA last season. And what 8 World Championships Sam McKinnon is having, resurrecting his international career after he didn't make the 2004 Olympics, largely due to injury. And good hustle again from Bogut to keep it alive. McKinnon floating into the lane, couldn't finish it off. Or it may have been Luke Kendall. And this is McKinnon now grabbing the rebound off the miss from Dwayne Wade. Australia trail by 2. CJ Bruton at the top of the key, calling Wade Helliwell for a screen. He rolls to the hoop, was open. Bruton couldn't get the ball there quickly enough. And now with 7 on the shot clock and firing unsuccessfully at the top of the key, Brad Newley. As Wade gets the ball for the United States. Ambitious play looking inside for Carmelo Anthony. And Australia rush back hard as Kendall takes it from close quarters from Sam McKinnon. Guarded by Jamison. They go inside. Good work there from McKinnon, but he gave it up. And CJ Bruton with a professional foul against Carmelo Anthony.
He might have walked before he was able to foul him. Game's being officiated really well, too. It's just flowing. Really getting to see the skills of both of these teams.
Jamison goes to work down low, forced into a tough shot, couldn't finish it off. Kendall back up the floor quickly. And now Helliwell takes them on, goes for the left-handed hook shot, his preferred side. Good D from the United States, and the ball knocked out of court by Sam McKinnon. The USA will restart. Less than 2 minutes to play in this first term.
This is the big question mark to see how Australia went when CJ Bruton sat on the bench.
Spinning into the paint, it's Dwight Howard. Did he walk? Certainly threw it down with some authority.
Wow. Dwight Howard straight out of high school into the NBA, the first pick of the NBA draft in his year, as well as LeBron James. He's the more famous of the two, LeBron James, doing it and dominating the very first day in the NBA.
Yes, LeBron was the youngest ever Rookie of the Year in the NBA as a 19-year-old. But Dwight Howard led the NBA in rebounding last season. And here's an opportunity for Australia. And certainly Brad Newley is going to enjoy that as he jumps upstairs for the dunk. 2-point ball game. 90 seconds left, term number 1. How about the skills there? We are seeing it all from Dwayne Wade.
How easy does he make it look? And no one out there should feel bad because he carved everybody up in the playoffs like that in the NBA playoffs this past season.
Well, quick hands on that occasion from LeBron James, but it's been whistled. United States with a 4-point lead. Dwight Howard picks up his first personal. Howard averaging 7 points per game and 5 rebounds, and top 10 at the World Championships in block shots as well. Good defensive presence for the USA. Newley growing in confidence, running into a corner, needs Helliwell for support. He marches into the paint, wants to take them all. That's aggressive work from Wade Helliwell, and he's rewarded with a trip to the free throw line.
Well, he's had 2 good moves to the basket. Hasn't hit a shot yet, but that is a good, strong, aggressive, in control. Nice soft shot, just kisses off the back of the rim. That's a big-time move that he hasn't shown thus far in the World Championships. There you go, big fella. Make those free throws, too.
Taking it straight at Chris Bosh and Dwight Howard in tandem. Helliwell's average 2 points per game, a World Championship high of 4, came in our opening win against Brazil. That's over a week ago now as Elton Brand comes back in. And Australia mixing it up here with the best team in the world. Final 60 seconds of the first term. USA by 2. Can they work it inside? He was there for a long time. Elton Brand from close range gets the dunk. You can hear the coaching staff of the Boomers calling out, how long has he been in the paint?
Look at the reaction time on that. You throw a double team at them late, early. They get double teamed so often. Great D.
Couldn't finish it off though. And Dwayne Wade knocks the ball out of court after he'd done all the hard work, and the Boomers will get it back. Well, they're going to need a little bit of luck as well, Australia. And they got a slice of it here as Wade just took his eye off the ball, was thinking about a spectacular finish before he recovered it. Aaron Bruce into the game. College star in Texas with Baylor University. And the USA get it back here with 21 seconds left on the clock until quarter time. They can slow it down for the last play. And that looks as though that will be the case. Penetration comes now again. Dwayne Wade losing the handle. Scoops up the loose ball in the corner. It's nothing but oxygen. And newly shot after the event. Entertaining opening quarter from Saitama in Japan. The round of 16. It is the United States who hold a 4-point lead. 27-23, exclusive to Fox Sports. Welcome back to Saitama in Japan. The USA 55% from the field. Australia 47%. They'll be happy with that. That's above what they shot during the tournament at 46. And the USA averaged 53% from the field to be second in the pool games. But they are very efficient. But Australia sticking with them at the moment. No more than 6 points has separated the teams so far. Australia held the lead themselves there for a minute or so. And a 4-point ball game as term number 2 gets underway, exclusive to Fox Sports.
Australia have done very well against the pressure of the USA, but it's going to be very difficult for Australia to continue to match them on the scoreboard. U.S. scores so easily.
Bogut gains single coverage. Looks to put it on the floor, works down low. Got Elton Brand going the wrong way, but then ran into the help D. Carmelo Anthony brings the USA back up the floor. Top of the key, gets a good screen from Elton Brand. Goes past Bogut, confronted by Sam McKinnon, who will be called for the foul.
And again, it's the Americans' ability to maneuver inside of traffic. Look, it puts up very soft, even though he was fouled, unlucky not to get an attempt at a 3-point play. See Carmelo Anthony's reaction about not finishing that play off. And you see that things that teams do well, Lithuania, ball movement without the ball. Greece, their teamwork and their team defense and their ability to knock down shots. But in the USA, once they get past the defense and the help defense comes, their ability to keep the ball on the floor and maneuver around people in traffic is probably their strongest suit.
6-point edge then for the United States. That's nice work from Australia. Worthington from close range is called for the offensive foul as he pushes Chris Bosch away when manufacturing the shot. It's a call that may not have been made in the NBL here in Australia.
And that's a fair call. You can see by the lack of reaction from Mark Worthington. You know, he probably had to do that with such defensive pressure.
Nice finish there from Bosch as well, but he appeared to get into the back of his Australian opponent. Double teamed. Elton Brand just rifling the pass to his teammate.
That's what makes Elton Brand so dangerous. He has to be double teamed, and when you do double team him, he makes you pay because he's such an efficient passer.
Early stages, term number 2. Brand again with some ball carrying problems. This man won't have any, or he has. He's been stripped of it. Chris Paul. Fastest hands at the World Championships, getting some of his own medicine there. And Australia desperate for a score. This trip up the floor as Bogut looks for C.J. Bruton. Guarded by Elton Brand, who's going to be called for the foul.
Not many mistakes being made in this game. Elton Brand with one there. Bogut really hasn't. Once he has back to the basket, he's been able to be contained by one guy.
Bruton a little off balance, couldn't get an effective shot away. The United States with an opportunity to build on a 6-point lead at the moment. James inside, look at the man jump upstairs. Chris Bosch for the big finish. Well, he starred in the United States final pool match against Senegal when he finished with 20 points and a game-high 10 rebounds. As Bogut behind the back threads the needle, they work it outside. Get no joy from long range, and the United States are looking ominous at the moment as Paul gets himself in the air. Found a teammate, unconvincingly, as Elton Brand backs his way in a little closer, off the front of the rim. And on this occasion, LeBron James launching himself over the back of the boom as it's called for the foul.
Sam McKinnon has been more than holding his own in the World Championships, and against the USA, where I was thinking maybe his athleticism is going to come to a standstill, he still has been blocking out, holding his spot, defending, and still getting to the rim with his quickness.
Well, Sam McKinnon is top 10 at the World Championships in assists and steals. Gives you an indication of how well he's been playing as Bogut puts it on the floor, and here is McKinnon from close range. Oh, Chris Bosch challenged him. Did an excellent job with it as well. It has been called for the foul.
Mano y mano. Woo! You know what I like about this game too is no one's complaining to the officials. You know, I know the game against Greece was a very good game, but I got tired of watching those guys complain about every call. Both these teams just going out and hoping.
Sam McKinnon to the free throw line. He's 6 of 13 at 46% at the World Championships. And normally when Sam McKinnon is upstairs at that level in the NBL, he doesn't have company. But Chris Bosch was having none of it and got plenty of ball as Australia get their first point since quarter time. Played 2.5 minutes. Well, a travelling violation appeared to go unwhistled there as Dwayne Wade adds another 2.
Dwayne Wade looks like he has about 3 more gears too. He looks like he's cruising.
United States have stolen the ball again. An opportunity for them here as Joe Johnson gets a good look, couldn't finish it off. Quick hands there by Sam McKinnon, just knocking the ball away from Dwayne Wade. Joe Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks, averaged 20 per game in the NBA last season. The USA by 9. Bosch works it to the top of the key. Now in the corner they find the open man and making it look very easy indeed.
So many weapons.
Here's Bogut. Game putting it on the floor. Wants some help now as he picks up the dribble. McKinnon provides it. Shot clock to 5. They go back to Bogut. Looks good off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound for McKinnon. Jason Smith a little deep with the 3. Good hustle again by Brad Newley to keep it alive. CJ Bruton, top of the key. Inside they look for Bogut, who palms it with the left hand. Couldn't finish it. And there is Heinrich knocking it out of court. Australia will have another opportunity.
And we've seen some world-class plays here. We've got time to go here until the first half finishes. Look at this. He goes up with his left hand and then flips it up over the defense. That thing did everything but go in. What a great play on a missed shot.
Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Hey.
Here's some of the highlights from term number 2. And Chris Bosch jumping upstairs, a 22-year-old from the Toronto Raptors. An exciting commodity. And so is Dwayne Wade. Travelling violation appeared to go unwhistled. Referees, perhaps from other countries who don't work in the NBA, haven't seen this type of athleticism on a regular basis as well.
They're probably as awestruck as all of us. And Bosch, man, he gets the thing 10 feet away from the basket. That thing's a dunk. One dribble, power, bang. He is long and athletic.
23 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists he averaged for Toronto in the last NBA season. As Bogut kicks the ball outside. Now he gets it back against multiple opposition, forced into a tough shot, couldn't make it happen. And the United States with an opportunity to build on a 12-point lead. They start to draw away from the Boomers. Joe Johnson firing over the top of David Barlow and helping himself to another 2.
Now you see the ball movement when Australia goes into a zone, say the game against Lithuania. They had great ball movement. In the United States, they move the ball maybe 1-2 passes, isolate one guy in the zone and take him one-on-one.
Here's Bruton outside to Bogut. Puts it on the floor here. Kicks outside. Again, the shot comes up empty. CJ Bruton with his hands full here. He fouls Wade. And free throws to come for the USA.
Had to do something. You just can't retreat and allow Dwayne Wade to use his athleticism. The closer he gets to the rim, got to make him make a decision one way or the other. You know, maybe you get that call, maybe you don't, but if he kept retreating, it was going to be a highlight.
Dwayne Wade gets to the free throw line more than any other player for the USA. It's inbounding the ball from the baseline. That's no consistency in the refereeing there in terms of continuation on what we've seen earlier in the tournament. That's going to count. A party trick from Dwight Howard. Lost control of the ball and somehow still got it going in the right direction. CJ Bruton did a good job, but couldn't prevent the 2 and a chance at a 3-point play.
Jeez, that's just lucky. Look at this. Look at the shoulders on him.
20 years of age, the youngest man in the USA lineup as well. At a World Championship high of 16 points and 10 rebounds against China. And it's starting to get a little ugly for the Boomers now, who haven't hit a field goal here in almost 5 minutes of play in term number 2. Eight unanswered points now from the USA. They are all over the Boomers at the moment. Less than 5 minutes to play until half-time. Joe Johnson works the ball down low. Here's Bogut muscling up against Howard and going to be called for the foul as well.
But they've just built a quiet lead here, haven't they? Just efficiently gone about their business, and they've turned up the screws on the other end of the floor as well. Not so much with extended pressure. I think that they realized Australia was coached well enough to be able to break that and still get good shots, but their half-court defense has been solid. They're not gambling too much. They're just playing great contained defense, and they're only allowing Australia one shot. And that one shot has a lot of pressure on it, too.
Howard shot the ball at 63% from the free throw line during the World Championships, averaging 5 free throws per game. And the margin is now out to 18. Australia with just 1 point here in term number 2. And the United States have been all over them. Bogut did well to retrieve that. Pass was a little bit behind his teammate Daniel Kickett. And another opportunity here. But Kirk Heinrich is quickly up the floor, picks up the dribble, wants support. Joe Johnson provides it. They look the ball, lob pass inside from close range. Carmelo Anthony should have done better, but Australia will take anything they can get at the moment as Barlow puts it on the floor and has it thrown out of there by Dwight Howard.
And he's got to be realistic. As he drives to the basket, look at that. He had nowhere to go. And right there, when you have the ability to beat your man like Barlow does, he's got a nice handle on the ball. He's got to develop some type of medium range game. If he doesn't have a wide open shot, he has the ability to get him past dribble penetration, hit the little 10-footer off the glass.
Wade Helliwell from long range couldn't finish it off. And Heinrich brings the USA back up the floor. 4 minutes to play in the first half. 18 is the spread at the moment after we started this term with the USA leading by 4. And Barlow going up there and challenging Dwayne Wade and doing enough to worry him out of possession.
Number 6, LeBron James.
Good to see Andrew Bogut being very aggressive. And hey, he's made a couple of turnovers, but you know, I'd wear that. The fact that he's being aggressive have allowed Australia to get a couple more points on the board through his aggressiveness.
Newley losing the ball under pressure. Carmelo Anthony takes Daniel Kickett on. Kickett did a good job initially, and now coming in from behind, CJ Bruton is going to be called for the foul. Carmelo Anthony from the Denver Nuggets, still only 22 years of age.
The USA, and then you look up and down their lineup, they have a lot of youth on their team. You say, oh, you know, the experience that the USA team has. They're young. LeBron James, straight out of high school. Dwight, straight out of high school. Carmelo Anthony just played 1 year of college basketball at Syracuse, went straight into the pro. So these guys have a lot of experience, but they're still very young in their early 20s.
5 players 22 or under.
Wow.
Building for 2008 in Beijing as they try and grab their mantle as the world power. Finished 4th at the Olympic Games in 2004, having won 12 of the 15 Olympic gold medals in basketball in Olympic history. Australia with some problems just getting an open look, let alone hitting one. And they're forced into error once more. Mentioned at the top of the telecast that the USA lead the league or the World Championships in steals, second in assists. Turn the ball over on average just 11 times per game compared with Australia's 20. They are so efficient. And that's why they lead by 20 here as Carmelo Anthony goes to work once more with 3 minutes left on the clock until half time.
Every single one of these guys is a franchise player. And reaching in, Carmelo Anthony goes to the line, but it's the defense. Mike Krzyzewski and his coaching staff have really made the emphasis on the defensive end of the floor, and all these guys are on the same page. And their half-court defense is so tight, it's making Australian players try and do things they're not capable of. Wade Helliwell's trying to put it on the floor and make something happen. You know, that allows him to do something like throw the basketball between his teammates' legs out of bounds, you know, where things that Australia wasn't forced to do in their pool games, the American team is forcing them way out of their comfort zone and making those type of turnovers that they haven't made in their previous games.
13 unanswered points from the United States has given them a 22-point lead here. Australia well overdue. Their first field goal of the second period arrives with less than 3 minutes to play until half time. That's a drought breaker. Now at the other end, it's Dwight Howard going to work. Under pressure, has lost control.
Substitution for USA, number 4, Joe Johnson. Number 10, Chris Paul. And number 11, Chris Bosh.
We saw Australia restrict Qatar to just 4 points in the third period of their match on Thursday. The Boomers getting some of their own medicine here. They've scored only 3 points. And the Americans 19 and make that 21 now as we get the reverse finish. As LeBron James combines with Dwayne Wade to thrill the fans and add to Australia's misery.
And I'll say it again, he looks like he's got a few more gears to get to. Reverse jam effortless. He's only 6'4" at the most. Just does it with such ease.
Here's Brad Newley looking for the penetration. High up the window, came up empty. Their defense has been too tough for Australia in this second period, giving them absolutely nothing. Oh, excellent pass inside, and this time Chris Bosh upstairs again is fouled. But they are really putting on a show here.
For Australia to have a chance at winning this game from the very beginning, Australia had to play perfect. They had to shoot the basketball better than they've ever shot the basketball from the perimeter to extend the USA defense. And I think realistically they had to have a little help from the US, like take Australia too lightly, not play very intense on the defensive end of the floor and get themselves into a hole. But right now they're just playing some free-flowing basketball and doing what comes natural to them, and that's Australia's worst nightmare. All this talent playing with nothing to lose.
Inside the last 2 minutes of the first half, United States with a 23-point lead against the Boomers. Again, the penetration comes for Australia. Barlow couldn't finish it off, however. Now Wade sharing the ball around. No look pass from Chris Paul. They retreat away. Carmelo Anthony looking for the triple. Yes, he fills it up again.
There's no answer to that. You know, they come off the ball screens or good strong drives. They can finish once they get into the key, and so you got to play off them a little bit, and then he's banging down a step back three.
David Barlow found an opening, goes to work, gets the job done on this occasion, draws a foul on Chris Bosh. Good aggressive work from David Barlow of the Sydney Kings, and he's off to the free throw line.
Well, C.J. Bruton hit a tough shot coming off of a screen, and that's our only other score with David Barlow. That looked good too, but their defense has done a great job at just containing Australia. I thought they were gambling a lot when the Australian team was matching them bucket for bucket, and they made some adjustments on the defensive end of the floor. Less gambling, more containment, and that has been the answer for the American team.
Or if they get here, you got these step outs. All right? We want you as the first screener. You got to get through that elbow action, and you got to turn and face it.
Well, highlights have been few and far between for the Australian Boomers since quarter time. And the United States, through Dwight Howard, go to work. And they had just so many weapons, as Steve Carfino has told you. The athleticism there, Chris Bosh from the Toronto Raptors.
Their spacing is just immaculate. You know, probably the best team in the NBA who relies on their spacing is the San Antonio Spurs. Once you double team Tim Duncan, everybody has a spot on the floor where you can't guard two guys with the positioning of one player. Their spacing is so good, and when you double team LeBron James after he comes over a ball screen, they've got Chris Bosh flashing down the middle of the key, and if you take that away, they've got a three-point shooter spotting up like Joe Johnson. They've got, like I said, so many weapons in key areas where you can't defend all those areas once you double team.
Brian Goorjian going with his youth here at the moment. Seeing Barlow out there with Aaron Bruce. Also Daniel Kickett, the 23-year-old who played with St. Mary's University in California, on the floor for the last 60 seconds of the first half. 23 the margin. Kick the ball outside once more, getting a good open look for Joe Johnson. And the margin back to 26. Here is Aaron Bruce, averaging 4 points per game at the World Championships. Getting involved, Helliwell put it on the floor, lost control of it, and Kirk Heinrich back quickly the other way. Marching into the paint, Joe Johnson drawing contact. And the Atlanta Hawks guard forward is off to the free throw line.
Because this team is coached so well, and they've picked a lot of players who are willing to not be the superstars. You know, I think that was the problem with the USA team in Greece. It wasn't picked with a team in mind. It was picked I'm not sure what they had in mind, the star players or merchandise or whatever they had in mind, what they could sell more merchandise with certain superstars. But these guys are enjoying the fact that they've got all kind of time and space. When they're playing for the NBA teams, they're the gun players and they're getting double teamed. And with this talent on the floor, they're just getting one-on-one coverage.
They're off to the races again, and Joe Johnson has really clicked it up a gear here in this second period. And the United States have a 30-point lead as we head toward halftime. Aaron Bruce on the buzzer. Can't get it to tumble for Australia. And that brings the curtain down on a very exciting term from the United States. They have done an excellent job here against the Boomers from Australia and go in at halftime with a 30-point lead. 32 points to 6 in that second period. It's the USA 59, Australia 29, exclusive to Fox Sports. And welcome back to Saitama in Japan and Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the 2006 World Basketball Championships. Unfortunately, it has been one-way traffic in the first half here between the number 1 seeds, the United States, and the Boomers, who are ranked 9 in the world. And at halftime, the USA led it by 30. 59-29 is the scoreline. The USA 7 of 9 from long range at 78%. Lead the rebound count 21-19. And Australia just 5 of 19 from the field at 26%. Well, they've been shell-shocked by this star-studded lineup, Steve.
Well, I think the fact that the American team is 7 for 9 outside the three-point line is probably the biggest stat, because that has not allowed Australia to pack it in and try and nullify that interior play of the U.S. Every time they try to do that, they get a quick pitch out and a ball reversal and a wide open look outside the three-point line, and they have not looked like missing those. Joe Johnson's hit a couple from the corner. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, everybody is just canning them outside the three-point line, and that's been the difference.
Coming into this match during the pool phase, the USA shot the ball at 39% from long range, 7th at the World Championships, and they were undefeated. So if they double their shooting percentage from long range, that's why we have the carnage that we do have at the moment, with Australia just looking to add some respectability to the score here after being restricted to only 6 points in that second term. Andrew Bogut leads Australia scoring with 9 points. Brad Newley has 8. CJ Bruton with 5. And the United States being paced by Carmelo Anthony with 13. Joe Johnson with 12 to halftime, and Dwayne Wade with 10. USA with a possession arrow here. They get us underway. Kept alive intelligently there by Chris Bosh, but ultimately Australia grab hold of it. And Andrew Bogut brings the Boomers back up the floor against Bosh. Sam McKinnon looking to get involved a little more offensively. Goes to Bogut, who's hammered by Carmelo Anthony. And Bogut to the free throw line.
Following USA number 15, Anthony, is second foul.
And Bogut goes upstairs to see Carmelo Anthony going straight up in the air on that angle. Again, no complaining. You know, these guys are just hooping. You just see the overall size of the U.S. Bogut makes a nice, strong move to the basket. He's 7 foot tall, and Carmelo Anthony looks like he plays the guard position a lot for the USA team. Contends that strong move by the 7-footer to the basket. It looks just as big.
Bogut into double figures. The United States quickly up the floor and showing some tricks as well. Exciting work from LeBron James. Averaged 31 per game in the NBA last season to be second in scoring. He's got a bag of tricks, and here they come again. Offensive foul is going to be called on the United States as Worthington takes the charge. Carmelo Anthony gets the foul again, his third personal.
I don't seem too concerned, him being in foul trouble. Only imagine who they put on the floor if he fouls out or gets another one and has to go to the bench for foul trouble.
It's Bogut sharing it with the captain, Jason Smith. Pulls off the three unsuccessfully, and Chris Paul back up the floor for the USA. Has plenty of options. They go in the corner and filling it up. And Carmelo Anthony adds the triple. And they come back again. Chris Paul with numbers up the floor goes solo, misses the layup. Reaching in from behind, strips McKinnon of possession, but did it illegally, according to the referees.
Just too casual there. He's one of those guys, like C.J. Bruton. He has kind of a very casual approach to the game, Chris Paul. Just misses a layup, simple as that.
C.J. Bruton with the ball for Australia. McKinnon gets it next, looking for the penetration and taking on Anthony, and that's his 4th personal foul now. And at the World Championships, 5 and you are out, as opposed to the 6 foul scenario we have in the NBL.
Substitution for USA, number 14, Elton Brand.
There you go. There's the answer. We were wondering who's going to come in for Carmelo Anthony if he picks up that 4th foul. There's our answer, Elton Brand.
Top 10 in the NBA in rebounding and block shots, and 25 points per game.
Not bad.
Bogut firing baseline, caught it short on the front of the rim. And the US look to expand their lead here. Coming in from behind, foul is going to be called on Sam McKinnon. Joe Johnson into the match. He lit it up for 12 points in that second period. He's 1 of 7 from long range against Senegal, Joe Johnson. He saved it all for Australia, and as much as we've enjoyed it, we didn't need to see it, and now he's got a bag of tricks close to the hoop as well.
You see all the layups that Australia have missed trying to finish plays like that. Brad Newley's missed a couple. Sam McKinnon's missed a couple. When the U.S. team go to finish, they make it. They put it up there nice and soft, and they get a roll in, or they go to the line.
McKinnon stays with it there as they clear out for him and give him some room to operate in, and Sam McKinnon adds to his tally. Joe Johnson with it again. Back to Chris Paul. Down low they work it now to Chris Bosh, and he adds another 2.
Couple of guys with some shot opportunities there. They throw that extra pass and then get the high percentage one.
Outside they go to Worthington, and he comes up with a long-range 3, Mark Worthington. The other end of the floor, Johnson fires quickly and unsuccessfully. C.J. Bruton with Bogut and Jason Smith ahead of him. Pass picked off by Joe Johnson. And now Chris Paul at the other end, getting good support here. And from close range, Elton Brand adds the 2. Three and a half minutes played in term number 3. Worthington picks up the dribble, goes to Bruton. Guarded by Chris Paul. Trying to back in Chris Paul, getting down low, couldn't finish it, and Joe Johnson emphatically dragging down the rebound. C.J. Bruton at 188 centimetres with a 5 centimetre height advantage on Chris Paul at 183. That gives you an indication of what an exciting player Chris Paul is, the Rookie of the Year. Just 183 centimetres or 6 feet tall. And Andrew Bogut, who was 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting, back onto the floor for Australia. USA by 34. Shot clock to 10 now. They work it down low and kick it outside to Joe Johnson. Off the front of the rim, Bogut grabs the rebound for the Boomers. Has a man working hard at Sam McKinnon, who adds another 2 for Australia. Making it look so easy at the offensive end. The USA on that occasion, it was Brad Miller into the match for his first minutes, who couldn't finish it off. Elton Brand as well, as Bruton gets it from Bogut. Lost the handle. Chris Paul under pressure himself and eventually draws a foul on Jason Smith.
Foul on Australia, number 10, Smith. Team second.
Well, Jason Smith has had his ups and downs at the World Championships, but he's averaged 10 points per game and has shot the ball at 50% from three-point territory. He's also had some important influence in the match as a captain for Australia as well. So overall, those numbers aren't too bad. Well, the USA's highest score at the World Championships, 146 versus Korea back in 1990. They won that match by 79 points. So they have served it up to a number of countries over the years at the World Championships. But interestingly, while they've dominated at the Olympic Games, where, as I mentioned, they've won 12 of the 15 gold medals, at the World Championships, the USA have only won the gold medal on 3 occasions. Most recently in Toronto in 1994. Brad Miller, we see there, the number 13 for the United States, who plays for the Sacramento Kings. He is one of the Americans who played at the 1998 World Championships and picked up a bronze medal there. Another foul going to be called on Australia. 5:11 to play here, term number 3. Brad Newley with 3 personals. The Boomers down by 32. Elton Brand kicking it outside. Here's Kirk Heinrich penetrating, working the ball to the elbow, and Elton Brand from the LA Clippers adds to his tally. Bruton in the corner to Jason Smith, now Bogut. Down on the low block. Taking on Elton Brand with a height advantage, and Bogut adds another 2. Chris Paul, Heinrich inside, they look again, and here's Brad Miller to open his scoring account.
And those are exactly the type of plays where Australia missed Matty Nielsen. Got Andrew Bogut down on the low block, and you got a 6'10" slashing athletic Matty Nielsen diving down from the high post, just as Miller there did for the USA.
Bogut attracted the quadruple team. The close range hands off to Worthington, who adds another 2. Less than 4 minutes to play in this third term. He's working the baseline. We find Dwayne Wade. That's a difficult commodity to try and defend.
He's so quick and explosive. It always amazes me how he can get to the rim faster than a guy that's 6'10" or 7 foot.
Bogut gets it from C.J. Bruton. Shot clock winds to 6, and Bogut marches to the hoop. Challenged by Elton Brand, who thought he got plenty of ball there. The foul has been called on the USA.
Well, the slow motion replays have shown that the guy challenging the shot, oh, that was all ball. And again, not much complaining, even though he has got a legitimate gripe. A bit of a smile. And I was always taught that if you're winning by a lot of points, call doesn't go your way, you really shouldn't have anything to say. As well as if you're losing by a lot of points, really shouldn't be a whole lot said there either in that situation.
Andrew Bogut's highest score at the World Championships, 18 points against Greece. That is in some danger here in the matchup with the USA. Bogut sits down for the moment. USA with a 32-point lead. 3 and a bit minutes to play, term number 3. Wade got himself in the air, kicks it outside. And Australia, no, they're struggling, and Brad Miller's starting to peel off triples.
Boy, these NBA guys just reinvent themselves in the offseason. Brad Miller is a big banger and has had the ability to hit the three-point shot when his man leaves him 3 seconds in the key. Or, I'm sorry, traveling violation. Either way, goes to the USA.
This is Wade. Looking for some penetration. Worthington to guard him at the moment. Works the baseline wraparound pass. Unable to be handled by Elton Brand. Now Newley showing us his athleticism as he charges up the floor and adds another 2. Two and a half to play in this third term. Wade. Now Elton Brand down low, working against Wade Helliwell with single numbers on the shot clock. Quick whistle again. Worthington coming in, snatching at the ball.
See how quickly the U.S. team, soon as Australia get in that 2 defense, which is a 2-3 zone, they throw maybe 2 passes, and then it's a quick isolation on one player in that zone area.
Oh, outside, Shane Battier knocks down the long-range shot. 36 is now the margin. That's the biggest we've seen. Heavy contact as Helliwell goes down. In fact, it's Newley going down. The battle of the number 8s.
And these guys, there's a little bit of contact on the hand, but he got the basketball as well. I know you could say hands part of the ball, but I am really enjoying the fact that this game is just being played at a high level.
Brad Newley with 11 points. He was 4 of 8 from the free throw line coming into this match at the World Championships. Looking to add some respectability to the scoreline for the Boomers. Inside the last 2 minutes, term number 3. USA by 34 after they started this term with a 30-point lead. Open man in the corner, fills it up once more. Their outside shooting has been fantastic as Shane Battier adds to the tally. Newley, catch and shoot. A little off balance, and Elton Brand grabs the rebound. Dwayne Wade to the oohs and ahs of the crowd in Japan. Worthington grabs the rebound for Australia. A little over a minute to play here, term number 3. Worthington thought he was fouled taking the shot. Couldn't get a whistle from the referee, who was right there with them.
All he had to do was kick it one extra pass for a wide open look by one of his teammates.
60 seconds left in this third term. Miller outside to Dwayne Wade. He measures the 3, and it's all the bottom of the net as well. 40-point lead for the USA. Australia will maintain possession here, but they have a lot of work to do.
Well, I think that everybody watching this game right now should enjoy what we're watching. Some great players making some tough plays look easy.
In the corner, they find the open man. Brad Newley couldn't finish it off. Now with multiple opposition, he kicks it outside to Barlow. Luke Kendall grabs the offensive rebound. It's tipped in by Newley. Brad Miller picks up the foul. 10-year veteran in the NBA, Brad Miller averaged 15 points, 8 boards and 5 assists for the Kings in the most recent season. Luke Kendall to the free throw line for the first time at the World Championships. Averaged 4 points per game in the 5 pool matches with a best of 9 against Qatar. The USA with a 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock as we head toward three-quarter time. Heinrich. And they swing it around to Wade. He may have traveled. And that's the call. On average, the USA have turned the ball over just 11 times per game. Australia 20 times per game in that category. They get another open look from outside on the buzzer, couldn't finish it off. And with 1 quarter to play, it is the USA with a commanding 39-point lead. At 3-quarter time, exclusive to Fox Sports, it's America 88, Australia 49 here on Fox Sports. Welcome back to Saitama in Japan at the Saitama Super Arena, which is used on a regular basis for professional wrestling in Japan. And the Boomers are getting a mauling at the moment at the hands of the United States, who lead at 88-49. A 39-point margin as the fourth period gets underway. Australia trail by just 4 at quarter time. And how about that for a defensive play from the USA? But staying with it, Brad Newley now has 14 in the match as Australia draw first blood here in the fourth term. Good job there from Aaron Bruce.
Well, Brad Newley just dropping his head a little bit after his shot got boarded. You can hear Brian Gorgon on the sideline tell him to stick with it.
Tough shot under pressure. Good job there by Luke Kendall, who gets it now from Aaron Bruce. And Luke Kendall adds the 2 for Australia and looking for a steal as well. And Carmelo Anthony is there to win it back for the USA and draw a foul on Luke Kendall.
Luke Kendall trying to make something happen. Great catch and finish. Then on the inbounds gets a piece of the basketball, but the overall size of the U.S. made that a jumping contest between him and Carmelo Anthony. And Luke was always going to miss out on that.
Carmelo Anthony 205 centimeters. Luke Kendall 193. There's Chris Paul getting away from Helliwell. They look inside. Good hands again from the Boomers, deflecting the inbound pass and going coast to coast. It's Aaron Bruce who adds the 2.
Going right at the body of Carmelo Anthony as he misses on the perimeter shot.
Well, appearing to be fouled there, Chris Bosh couldn't get a whistle. And the Boomers, who have made a good start here, 6 unanswered points to start this period, and add another 2 with a goaltend. 8 unanswered points to start this final period from the Boomers.
Brian Gorgon asked his guys to continue to play hard, even harder here in the fourth, and they've answered so far.
Played 90 seconds of term number 4. And the 2 will count. Chance at a 3-point play. And Carmelo Anthony had 16 at 3-quarter time. Looking to work up to his World Championship average of 20, which is 7th at the World Championships.
Well, good start here in the fourth quarter by Brian Gorgon and his Boomers. Again with that message to finish up right. And one thing they've done well is defended well. They've got a couple of deflections and a nice finish by Luke Kendall on a good pass by Aaron Bruce. And then Aaron Bruce goes all the way and puts one up nice and soft over Carmelo Anthony, and both on the end of a turnover by the U.S.
"12 of 20 from long range. The USA, Australia 5 of 18 at 28%. And coming into this match, Australia had been shooting the ball at 41% from long range to be top 5 at the World Championships. Also top 5 at the World Championships in steals, averaging 9 per game, and 6th at the World Championships in assists at 15 per game. So there are some statistical evidence here that Australia has done a good job against very tough opposition, it has to be said. The toughest pool at the World Championships, they make it through, and now up against the gold medal favourites. It's no surprise that they're down by 33. But still playing hard here, and Brian Gorgon will like that.
Just stung trying to throw a cross-court pass. It's going to be tough against the quicks And the reaction time of the U.S. team is probably something that these Australian boomers just haven't played against before. And we're chatting at halftime about, you know, probably the USA could put a team together that's even better than this one with Shaq and Kobe Bryant, but this team plays very well together.
Inside they work the ball to Carmelo Anthony. He is a live wire. Getting in some dunking practice as well. He draws a foul.
Number 15, his third foul, James Ford.
And LeBron James here at the World Championships has been happy to play a supporting role to Carmelo Anthony to a certain degree. While he's averaged 14 points per game, LeBron James is top 7 at the World Championships in assists and steals. And Carmelo Anthony averaging 20 per game, including 50% from long range, and a World Championship high of 35 against Italy when they needed someone to score. The highest score at the World Championships this year, 47 by Dirk Nowitzki against Angola. 35 is the margin here for the USA as they head toward the century mark. Aaron Bruce gets another chance here. Youngest player for Australia at just 21 years of age. Works it over to where David Barlow is able to get the job done. Top of the key, they invited Chris Bosh to take the shot and give him plenty of time to measure it. He peels off the long range three.
For as long as he turned that shot down, I thought maybe he wasn't comfortable with that range. Just reined one in.
Kendall short on the rim, keeps his own rebound alive. Aaron Bruce goes to Brad Newley. He elevates and knocks down the shot as well. A long-range three from Brad Newley. Now with 15 in the game. A little over 3 minutes played in the final term here. 33 the margin. It started this term with a 39-point buffer, the US. As Chris Paul hands off to Bosh, in turn he invites Carmelo Anthony into it. And Bosh down on the baseline. Helliwell couldn't get there quickly enough. And Bosh, who's coming off a 20-point haul against Senegal, adds to his tally. Boomers swing the ball around the perimeter and Barlow travelled at the top of the key. And the turnovers have certainly hurt Brian Goorjian's team at the World Championships. 20 turnovers per game Australia have averaged, and that is 23rd of the 26 teams there. Always going to make it difficult, and that's an area that obviously we're going to need to improve on. Loose ball spills to Newley, who goes to Aaron Bruce, and Aaron Bruce adds another 2. Had 8 against Greece for a World Championship high. The USA looking to get Carmelo Anthony with the alley-oop play there. He just erupted from behind the Boomers' defense. And the fans are certainly enjoying the athleticism the USA are turning on here, and we trust you are enjoying our coverage and will continue to enjoy Fox Sports' exclusive coverage of the World Championships right through to the men's final on the 4th of September on Monday. And after that, the Women's World Championships in Brazil begin on September 13. And we are definitely a gold medal contender in that one, Steve.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, one of the favorites with a second-ranked team in the world. So there are going to be a lot of games where Australia will be the strong favorite.
And just for a reminder for our viewers as well, if you're thinking about turning off here because of the scoreline, I'll invite you to stick around, because at the end of this match, we'll have highlights from Germany against Nigeria. Ebi Ura, the new Brisbane Bullets recruit, is playing with Nigeria. And that game is decided on the buzzer. So stick around for that as Dwight Howard adds to the carnival atmosphere here in Saitama.
That's another perfect pass by Chris Paul. Carmelo Anthony wasn't able to get the first one. That time, Dwight Howard knocks it down.
35-point margin. Little over 5 minutes to play. And Chris Paul attracted all the attention, kicks it outside. Carmelo Anthony a little long with it initially. Now another alley-oop play. And LeBron James with a very ambitious pass.
There's many great plays and alley-oops and timing plays that we've seen in this game. It doesn't resemble an all-star game. That's probably the first poor pass we've seen. And I don't know how many all-star games you've seen out there, but normally guys are trying fancy plays and aren't pulling off half of them. It gets really ugly, but this team seemed to really play well together, the USA, with a lot of bounce passes and guys cutting on the baseline, and they really look to gel as a unit.
Well, match substitutions here from the USA.
Substitution for Australia, number 6, McKinnon. Number 9, Richard.
Australia going to the bench as well.
Substitution for USA, number 4, Johnson. Number 5,
Joe Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. He's been turning it on in this game. He comes back in. Had 14 at three-quarter time, Joe Johnson, which is his highest score at this World Championships. And Chris Bosh from the free throw line, the 22-year-old plays with the Toronto Raptors. He averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds in his third NBA season. And for the 5th time in 6 matches, the USA are in 3 figures. Their highest score, 121 against China, which equates to around 145 in a 48-minute game that we play in the NBL. Their lowest score, 94 against Italy. Only time the USA have been restricted above 100 as Andrew Bogut goes. Brad Miller playing some disinterested defense on that occasion. Comes up with a foul as well.
Well, I don't want to look too far ahead, but it'd be interesting to see how the USA go against a team like Greece, who really like to play their own pace and like to foul a team when they're in the open court and not allow them any fast break, easy baskets. Interesting to see if they can rack up 3 figures against a team like that.
34 is the margin. As Wade fires. Couldn't finish it off. Offensive rebound for Brad Miller. Got plenty of treatment from Bogut. It went unwhistled, and the Boomers come back the other way through C.J. Bruton. Got past Miller with a stutter step. Ball deflected out of court by Anton Jamison, who we haven't seen a lot of in this match. Bruton goes to Bogut. They give him some latitude. Miller on the back pedal now. Double team arrives. Kicks it to Bruton, who's overdue. Caught a little deep, unable to hit the target, and Kirk Heinrich back up the floor for the USA. Now they work the ball to Wade. The extra pass to Miller, who gets the 2, draws a foul on Sam McKinnon from close range. Well, they've got another gear or 2 to go to, but at the moment, the USA are putting on quite a show.
It's that extra passing. There's one, there's another one. Good position to Brad Miller. And this is a team full of superstars. They're the go-to guy on their respective teams, and they are all willing to throw that extra pass. They've done a very good job at selecting this team for the USA.
37-point spread at the moment. Hinder works it to the captain, Jason Smith. He can't find the target. Loose ball. Hinder gets after it, and it bounces free to Andrew Bogut. Pass Miller, walking over the top and being called for the offensive foul as Anton Jamison takes the charge.
Offensive foul on Australia, number 4, Andrew Bogut. It is 4 foul.
3.5 minutes to play. USA in control as they have been since quarter time after an even first period, it has to be said. But since then, the USA have been able to run away with it. Joe Johnson off the money there. Bruton grabs the rebound. Gets numbers in support. Picks up the dribble now. Needs help. Finds Russell Hinder. Top of the key, they work it around. Losing his footing, Jason Smith going down, has coughed it up. Heinrich to Jamison and getting it back. They exchange passes again. And Jamison buries the three. Again, Australia have coughed it up, and the USA lead by 40. The margin has never been bigger in the match.
You talk about talent. Antoine Jamison went to college at North Carolina with Vince Carter.
Athletic but unsuccessful move from the USA as Bogut quickly back up the floor. Little over 2 minutes to play. Bogut from close range throws down the dunk. Here's Joe Johnson against Russell Hinder in something of a mismatch in terms of foot speed and other areas I'm sure Rusty won't mind me pointing out. Well, this hasn't been Australia's best performance that we've seen at the World Championships. They were going to need their best to be competitive against the might of the #1 team in the world. They just haven't been able to put it together in their final match of the campaign.
Well, the Yanks have just made it difficult in every aspect of the game for the Australians, except for maybe on the glass. Australia has been matching with them. But just plays like this, Sam McKinnon makes LeBron James shoot a tough shot. He puts it up there nice and soft. It's the Americans' ability to finish plays. And they get to the rim, whether they're fouled or look at this play here. Joe Johnson just puts it up there nice and soft. Australia have had a number of occasions where they've gotten to the rim and the ball's just bounced very hard off the backboard. That's not one of them, David Barlow. And this is a pass from Chris Paul. This time it's a successful one to Dwight Howard. And you think about players or athletes aren't very bright. Dwight Howard was the class president at his high school, 4.0 student, which is straight A's. Top student at his high school, and obviously the best basketball player in the country, high school or college, and he went #1 in the NBA draft. So as far as a successful young man, I'd say he fits the criteria.
And if Fox Sports basketball fans and other viewers would like to see a little bit more of this, do not forget that we have the NBA coming to Fox Sports in the new season as well. 2 games a week to add to up to 4 NBL games a week, and NBL Wrap, the new look pre-game show on Wednesday nights leading into our live NBL coverage. USA 38 points to the good at the moment. And here's Joe Johnson going to work, was determined he was going to get that off there and came up with the goods as well. Australia with a long-range 3 unsuccessfully, and Russell Hinder knocking the ball out of court.
It's not a very excitable USA group, is it? I mean, that was a heck of a shot by Joe Johnson. They show the reaction of his teammates, and it looked like they were falling asleep over there.
Good hands reaching in there by Jason Smith. Deflected the ball free, and he gets upstairs at the other end for the squeak jam. .65 seconds to play. How about the tricks that we're seeing there from Joe Johnson as he gets it to Brad Miller. Russell Hinder had the ball knocked away, and Chris Paul cleans up and adds the 2. Well, he hasn't had the star in this match, Chris Paul, but every now and again you get an indication of what he can produce as Joe Johnson gets the finishing touches on another great strip there from Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, for a guy that's 6 foot tall, he has got his hands in a lot of the game.
Bogut again taking it at the Americans.
Fouling USA number 13 Miller, his 3rd foul.
42-point lead. It's the biggest we've seen in the match at any stage.
At the line for Australia, before Hogan, 2 shots.
22 points in this term for the Australian Boomers, 25 from the USA. Only 4-point differential in the first period, but a 32-6 second term for the United States really opened this one up. As Chris Paul has his good work nullified by Brad Miller. What was the big man thinking? Sam McKinnon gets an easy 2 for the Boomers.
Boy, that was going to roll in too. What a move. And we talked about Dwayne Wade having a couple more gears. You get the feeling that Chris Paul, the NBA's Rookie of the Year, could have shown us a few more tricks. And that'll be about it.
Well, it's been a very impressive display by the #1 seeds in the World Championship favourites, the USA. They've defeated the Boomers by 40 points. Full time, USA 113, Australia 73, exclusive to Fox Sports. Well, a 40-point thrashing it is, but 212 teams qualified or attempted to qualify for the World Championships. Only 24 made it there. Australia get through to the last 16, so you can look at it which way you want to. It's been a good performance by an undermanned Boomers outfit, and we trust you enjoyed the highlight reel from the United States of America.
And I think that if Australia said that they're going to make it to the final 16 teams before the World Championship started with their depleted lineup, they'd be pleased. And let's say they ran into the USA team who started off maybe a little slow due to Australia coming out playing very well. But they saw America's A game. They had to turn it up to have that big second quarter against the Boomers. And hey, they have way too much talent. They play very well together, and they got to keep their heads up.
So the tournament at the World Championships is over for Australia. On behalf of Steve Carfino, I'm John Casey. We've appreciated your support throughout the World Championships, and stick around because coming up, it's a buzzer-beating finish as Germany take on Nigeria.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.